So this former YouTuber, Ruby Franke, she used to be on YouTube giving out parenting advice, today was sentenced to up to 60 years in prison after she had pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. So it's up to 15 years on each charge. Her associate in this, Jody Hildebrandt, received the same sentence. Let's bring in now the criminal defense attorney, Brian Claypool, who also does a lot of child advocacy work. So, boy, this case, I would assume just on a personal level, probably was something that you were paying attention to and bothered you. I mean, the Jody woman, I believe, was like a trained therapist, which makes this even worse. But talk about the sentencing today. So it's 1 to 15 years on 4 different counts, right? So up to 60?
Yeah. Hey, Connell. Yeah, it's really an interesting statute. 1 to 15. That leaves a lot of leg room. So I think what Frank did here, she pled guilty and then she showed remorse with the court, Connell, because I think she wants to get a lighter sentence, and then she's blaming it and shifting it, and putting this on the doorstep of Hildebrandt, saying that Hildebrandt distorted her sense of morality. That was her defense. And, I struggle a little bit with that because I do work on a lot of these cases. And, when a parent starts using somebody else who's doing relationship therapy as part of the problem, it does kind of, give me a little bit of internal turmoil. But look, what's interesting, Connell, about this is I believe the Utah Department of Parole is ultimately going to decide how much time she's going to spend in jail. So she's going to get in there, try to be on good behavior, and try to get out of jail as soon as possible. Let
me put up on the screen the things that she's admitted to, because, again, it's on YouTube. They had this show where they talked about parenting and used to, as I said a moment ago, pretty much give people advice. But then Ruby, she admits to depriving her children of food and water, subjecting them to physical labor, making them stand in the sun, holding her son's head underwater, telling her daughter she was evil. But, some of this is far worse than some of the other things, but some of it's pretty bad stuff here.
Yeah, Connell, I worked on a case involving Anthony Avalos, and it was very similar to the Gabriel Fernandez case that was part of a Netflix documentary. And some of these charges against her are similar to what happened to Anthony Avalos out here in LA and Gabriel Fernandez. Anthony was forced to kneel on fried rice on the ground on his knees, and he had bruises and burns from head to toe. That's just one example. But look, Frank even duct taped her kids, tied their arms behind their back with duct tape, and starved them. These are really, really serious allegations, and I really hope the court and the parole board isn't going to buy into totally Frank blaming this on Hildebrandt, because Connell, you're a parent, I'm a parent, a lot of your viewers are parents. I mean, we make conscious decisions on how to treat our kids, and absent some kind of mental health expert coming into court on the mitigation part of this case and saying, oh, she was brainwashed, I really hope that she does, at least a modest amount of time in jail. So this sends a message to parents across the country. You can't treat your kids with brutality and then blame it on somebody else.
Yeah, no, that sounds ridiculous, a brainwashing of someone to, not do something as ridiculous as all that, holding her son's head underwater and all this other stuff that you said. I mean, anybody would know that that's not the right thing to do. You don't need an expert or a therapist to come in and set you straight on that. But Brian, as always, thank you. Terrible case, but we'll see how much time she ends up doing. Could be up to 60 years, but to Brian's point, it could be a lot less as well. Back to politics. Nikki.